Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the postponed game we all have been waiting for. This is a Super Chess Classic tournament in Romania. This is Fabiano Caruana with the white pieces playing against a hero of chess, as we can say, Alireza Firouzja. The game was played yesterday. It was a rest day, but not for those two. Fabi, truly a gentleman of chess, truly a sports person. He chose to play the game on a rest day, and Alireza, who could easily withdraw from the tournament because of his ankle injury, continue to play on the highest level. I'm going to show you a very nice photo so we can all get in the mood. Yesterday I didn't have the time to record the video, but today I am fully prepared. I analyzed the game very precisely, so you will enjoy in the analysis, but you can leave that in the comment down below. I'm not going to raise myself. Here we have the amazing photo. You can see that, sorry about that, you can see the Alireza with his swollen ankle and lying in bed playing against Fabi. So the arbiter was also in the room, and some cameraman, and taking photos of the players. So truly a wonderful picture and an amazing moment for chess. So I really hope you enjoy it, and now let's get straight to the action. Let's get to this amazing game. We have a lot to cover. We have Fabiano with the white pieces open the game with knight to f3. We have d5 going in the center, and now we have c4. This looks like Reti opening. c6 transposing to English opening, Ka1 defensive system, and now we have d4, another transposition. Now this is the Slav defense, modern line. We have knight jumps to f6 and e3, closing the structure, so this bishop will stay in behind the pawn chain. We have a bishop goes to f5. Now this is the quiet Schallopp defense from the Slav. We have knight jumps to c3 and e6. Makes sense. This bishop is out of the pawn chain, so here you connect the pawns, and now in this position we can explore the line which is usually played. Bishop to d3 and then bishop goes to g6. We have castles by white and developing the knight to d7 square, h3, and now developing the bishop to d6. Makes sense. And now we have a trade of the bishop, h takes on g6 and queen goes to d3, capturing in the center, and queen captures on c4. This is one of the lines which could happen in the game, but here Caruana played a very interesting move. But I can mention here in this position a lot of moves can be played. If you're playing with the white pieces, you can opt for h3, you can play bishop to e2, you can play queen to b3, you can play a3. You can play a lot of moves. Even knight to d2 is playable. Everything can be played, but here Caruana went for the bishop immediately. He attacked it, and we have bishop goes back to g6, and he snatched the bishop. Bishop was captured, and we have bishop to d2 and bishop to e7. This is a very interesting move, and we have queen goes to b3, putting some, sorry, wrong arrow, putting some pressure on that b7 pawn. And now in this position, black could continue with queen to b6 and trying to trade queens, but Alireza is up for a fight, because with queen to c8 he says that he isn't planning to trade queens anytime soon. And now a very interesting move in this position. Here I was watching the game myself, and I was expecting in this position bishop to d3 or bishop to e2 move and maybe to f3, but he played castles, queenside. And we have d takes on c4. Now let's see what happens. Bishop captures on c4, so free tempi. We have b5. Here Alireza immediately strikes and continues his attack on the queen side. Those pawns will start pushing and he will try everything to checkmate that white king. We have a bishop goes back to e2 and now even a5. Here, if you see this position, if you look closely, the threat is to play a4 because this is the right approach, not b4, because then the knight occupies the a4 square and you have furthermore control of that c5. So a5 is the right approach. And now we have sidestepping with the king. King goes to b1 and first developing the knight. Knight to a6. Alireza says that he has got time. And rook to c1, nicely eyeing that black queen with the rook. And now a4 challenging the queen. Queen goes all the way back to d1 and now even a3. Trying to bust open the king side, and here we can explore one line. I'm going to show you because if you have this same position or maybe on the board, if you capture the pawn in front of your king, let's say for example, we would see black has got enough time to first castle and then queen to b3, and I'm showing you the best line that white has. We would see something like queen goes to d7, you're defending both of the pawns, and the idea is you will put the rook behind the pawn and play b4. And after king goes to a1, sidestepping, you play rook from f to b8. Bishop goes to f3, putting the bishop on this long diagonal to threaten the rook, but now you execute b4. And let's say, for example, knight jumps to e2, you capture the pawn, and here queen goes to c4, the rook is eyeing that queen, and now a very nice move, knight jumps to c5. And the idea behind this move is that those two knights will come to that e4 square, so it's better to capture the knight. We would see queen captures, and as you can see by the evil, this is positionally lost for white. If you make some silly moves, you can even get checkmated, so I hope you saw that. So if we go back in this position, of course, Caruana didn't capture the pawn and he pushed the pawn to b3. And now we have queen goes to d7 and now f4. A very nice move when I was watching the game, preventing any e5 ideas. We have rook goes to b8, nicely eyeing that white king. And now Caruana starts his attack on his own and he plays g4. The idea is to play g5 and maybe snatch that knight if the knight jumps to that h5 square. And we have c5, Alireza strikes in the center, and we have g5. Continuing his expansion on the queen side, and here knight to d5 needed to be played, but we're going to explore this quick line. This should be about equal, and then we would see something like d takes on c5, and you capture the pawn with the knight. Now you capture the d5 knight, and after queen captures, you play bishop to c3. You will exchange queens, and after the trades happen, queen takes and rook takes. The position is equal for both players. But if we go back in this position when this g5 move was played, here Firouzja played knight to h5, which is a slight mistake. And now we have bishop to e1 and c4, pushing the pawn and trying to bust open the white's king. We have king goes to a1, and now Alireza castles. The position is still equal for both players. Let's see what will happen. We have knight jumps to e4 and c takes on b3, opening that king. a takes on b3. Now this pawn is nicely shielding that white king, so the king is very nicely placed and is very safe on that square. We have a rook from f to c8, and now we have bishop to c3, a very nice move, and rook to c7. So Alireza is trying to double up those rooks. We have queen goes to d3, preparing bishop to d2, and so the rooks can get traded on that c file. We have queen goes to d5 and bishop to d2, and now rook from b to c8, trying to trade off rooks, and bishop to f3, eyeing the queen. And in this position, first I need to, in this position, feel free to subscribe, hit that like button, and maybe share this analysis, this video with people who like chess. And but I need to turn the engine off because this is the first critical position. Here Alireza played queen to d7. And why is this move a blunder? Let's first explore some lines. What Alireza should play. He should continue the game with with knight to b4. And firstly, if you're new to chess and you're thinking about grabbing the knight, this is not, you're losing immediately, because black is faster. You capture the rook, and after rook captures, you capture the check. You cannot even attack the rook, so you need to go up, and you lose even the bishop. So this is completely winning. This is out of the question. After this move, you need to capture the rook. And now you're saying, what about my queen? And now if black captures the queen, let's say, you're losing. You're black, you're white. Try to find the best move in this position and win the game with the white pieces. The combination starts with rook takes on c8, and after the bishop blocks, what do you play now? If you calculate it precisely, you play knight to f6. This is a royal fork, and you need to capture this knight. Let's say, for example, g takes, you capture the queen, and after the trades, you can see both players have 3 pieces, but white is up 2 exchanges, so this is completely winning. And here I'm going to show you the best line that needed to be played in this position. You first capture the rook, and in this position, black needs to capture the rook with the rook, and now you play bishop to takes on b4. You trade the bishops, so everything is fine. And yeah, the position is equal, as you can see by the engine, so this would be perfectly for both players. But after queen to d7, here Caruana played rook takes on c7, and we have rook takes on c7, and he continued the game with rook to c1. We have rook trade, rook captures, bishop captures, and now knight to b4. But now the position is a lot different. We have queen goes to d2, eyeing the knight if the bishop moves. We have queen goes to a7, defending the pawn. Knight jumps to c3, going after the b5 pawn. And here I think Alireza somehow miscalculated, because I think everybody sees that this pawn will get attacked 2 or 3 times, and how can you defend it? He played queen to a6, which defends the pawn, but after bishop to e2, now we have 2 attackers and only 1 defender. So I think he miscalculated this, and he played queen to a8. Now the pawn is lost. We have bishop takes on b5. White is slightly better now in this position, because soon this pawn will fall. You can play bishop back, and then you'll capture the pawn. But who am I to talk? We have queen to h1 and bishop goes to c4, king to h7 on pinning, and we have knight jumps to b1, so two pieces are eyeing that pawn. We have knight jumps to c6, trying to remaneuver the knight, maybe to attack the bishop, and here I think this was, sorry, not this square is covered. Maybe he was expecting bishop to b4 to attack the queen, so he wanted to attack the knight, but this was not the right approach. And here Alireza played knight to d8, and now king goes to a2. We have queen goes back to b7. You're threatening the bishop, and queen to e2, defending the bishop. f6, trying something. You need to try something. You need to keep going. We have bishop to d3, pinning the pawn, and now even f5, pushing the pawn. And now Caruana calculates precisely, and there is no threat, so he captured the pawn. Now this king is very safe on this a2 square. We have queen goes to a7, and now queen to c2, and even e5, trying something, this bishop is pinned, but it's defended by the knight, so you've got nothing. As black, we have f takes on e5, and bishop captures on g5, and now queen to c8. Maybe the idea is to take two pawns for the check. We have check, captures, and we check, and you pick up the bishop. And now we have knight to f7, defending the bishop and preventing any tactics, but e6 pushing the pawn. You're 2 squares away from promotion, so knight jumps to h6, and now even queen to d7, trying to trade off queens. And here, if you're trading queens, you're completely losing, so queen to b8 was played, and now even e7, 1 square away from promotion. And now if you're thinking about grabbing this pawn with queen takes on h2, you just block. How can you stop the queening square? This is the only move, and white just promotes to a queen. You need to capture one of the queens, and now you're up a piece, so this is completely winning. So you can play that after here queen knight to f6 was played, and queen to d6 by Fabi. We have queen goes to a8, and we have queen goes to g3. Some maneuvering, and now Alireza tried to attack Fabi's queen. Knight from h on g4. We have eyeing that pawn, and now we have h3 attacking the knight, and knight from f to h5, threatening the queen. Queen goes to g1, and now capturing the pawn with the bishop. Queen goes to e1, and even knight to f4, threatening the bishop. And now just Fabi calculates everything. He captured the knight, and queen delivers check on g2, and after knight to d2 into us, also in this position on move 54, that Alireza resigned the game because there is no defense. This knight is attacked twice. Let's say, for example, if you capture the knight with the bishop, we would see something like captures, and if you go, this is checkmate. And if I go back in this position, and if you capture with the queen, you just capture and you promote. This is also winning, but we can even explore the best defensive line that black has. You capture the knight, but it's the same stuff. You give a check, and now you play knight to h5. You sacrifice the knight, and now you bring the other queen in the game. Black has got a very nice move in discovery. This is you check, so you will pick up the queen. You need to block. You block, with the bishop, and now you capture the queen, but you capture the knight. And now if you count the material, you cannot capture the pawn because the pawn would get taken with check. So the best thing for you to do is to, it's very interesting, the engine says bishop to f6, but this doesn't hold. You can even trade queens here in this position, and you're winning. You're up a piece. This should be easily winning. You're just going to push the pawn. You're much faster. One of the bishop will stop the pawn, so this is completely winning. Alireza knows this, so in this position he resigned the game because there is nothing more to be done. I really hope you enjoy it in this postponed game. Truly a beautiful one, and played yesterday on a rest day, so I'm going to cover some more games of this chess tournament, so stay tuned for that. We'll see you soon with the next game. Have a good day and goodbye.